Wordless 12. Derogatory. Expressing a low opinion. I resent your derogatory remarks. Descant. Disgustfully. He was willing to descant upon any topic of conversation, even when he knew very little about the subject under discussion. Descry. Catch sight of. In the distance, we could barely descry the enemy vessels. Desecrate. Profane, violate the sanctity of. Shattering the altar and trampling the holy objects underfoot, the invaders desecrated the sanctuary. Desiccate. Dry up. A tour of this smokehouse will give you an idea of how the pioneers used to desiccate food in order to preserve it. Desolate. Unpopulated. After 6 months in the crowded, bustling metropolis, David was so sick of people that he was ready to head for the most desolate patch of wilderness he could find. Desolate. Rob of joy, lay waste to, forsake. The bandits desolated the countryside, burning farms and carrying off the harvest. Despise look on with scorn, regard as worthless or distasteful. Mr. Bond, I despise spies, I look down on them as mean, despicable, honorless men, whom I would wipe from the face of the earth with as little concern as I would scrape dog droppings from the bottom of my shoe. Despoil. Plunder. If you do not yield, I am afraid the enemy will despoil the countryside. Despondent. Depressed, gloomy. To the dismay of his parents, William became seriously despondent after he broke up with Jan. They despaired of finding a cure for his gloom. Despot. Tyrant, harsh, authoritarian ruler. How could a benevolent king turn overnight into a despot? Destitute. Extremely poor. Because they had no health insurance, the father's costly illness left the family destitute. Desultory. Aimless, haphazard, digressing at random. In prison Malcolm X set himself the task of reading straight through the dictionary. To him, reading was purposeful, not desultory. Detached. Emotionally removed, calm and objective, physically unconnected. A psychoanalyst must maintain a detached point of view and stay uninvolved with his or her patients' personal lives. To a child growing up in an apartment or a row house, to live in a detached house was an unattainable dream. Detergent. Cleansing agent. Many new detergents have replaced soap. Determination. Resolve, measurement or calculation, decision. Nothing could shake his determination that his children would get the best education that money could buy. Thanks to my pocket calculator, my determination of the answer to the problem took only seconds of my time. Deterrent. Something that discourages, hindrance. Does the threat of capital punishment serve as a deterrent to potential killers? Deter. Detonation. Explosion. The detonation of the bomb could be heard miles away. Detraction. Slandering, aspersion. He is offended by your frequent detractions of his ability as a leader. Detrimental. Harmful, damaging. The candidate's acceptance of major financial contributions from a well-known racist ultimately proved detrimental to his campaign, for he lost the backing of many of his early grassroots supporters. Deviate. Turn away from, a principle, norm, depart, diverge. Richard never deviated from his daily routine. Every day he set off for work at 8 o'clock, had his sack lunch, peanut butter on whole wheat, and headed home at the stroke of 5. Devious. Roundabout, erratic, not straightforward. The Joker's plan was so devious that it was only with great difficulty we could follow its shifts and dodges. Devise. Think up, invent, plan. How clever he must be to have devised such a devious plan. What ingenious inventions might he have devised if he had turned his mind to science and not to crime. Devoid. Lacking. You may think her mind is a total void, but she's actually not devoid of intelligence. She just sounds like an airhead. Devotee. Enthusiastic follower. A devotee of the opera, he bought season tickets every year. Devout. Pious. The devout man prayed daily. Dexterous. Skillful. The magician was so dexterous that we could not follow him as he performed his tricks. Diabolical. Devilish. What a fiend I am, to devise such a diabolical scheme to destroy Gotham City, chortled the Joker gleefully. Diagnosis. Art of identifying a disease, analysis of a condition. In medical school Margaret developed her skill at diagnosis, learning how to read volumes from a rapid pulse or a hacking cough. Diagnose, diagnostic. Discomfit. Put to rout, defeat, disconcert. This ruse will discomfit enemy. Discomfiture discomfited. Discomposure. Agitation, loss of poise. Perpetually poised, agent never exhibited a moment's discomposure. Disconcert. Confuse, upset, embarrass. The lawyer was disconcerted by the evidence produced by her adversary. Disconsolate. Sad. The death of his wife left him disconsolate. Discord. Conflict, lack of harmony. Watching Tweedledum battle Tweedledee, Alice wondered what had caused this pointless discord. Discordant. Not harmonious, conflicting. Nothing is quite so discordant as the sound of a junior high school orchestra tuning up. Discount. Disregard, dismiss. Be prepared to discount what he has to say about his ex-wife. Discourse. Formal discussion, conversation. The young Plato was drawn to the agora to hear the philosophical discourse of Socrates and his followers. Discredit. Defame, destroy confidence in, disbelieve. The campaign was highly negative in tone, each candidate tried to discredit the other. Discrepancy. Noun, lack of consistency, difference. The police noticed some discrepancies in his description of the crime and did not believe him. Discrete. Separate, unconnected. The universe is composed of discrete bodies. Discretion. Prudence, ability to adjust actions to circumstances. Use your discretion in this matter and do not discuss it with anyone. Discriminating. Able to see differences, prejudiced. A superb interpreter of Picasso, she was sufficiently discriminating to judge the most complex works of modern art. Secondary meaning, discrimination. Discursive. Digressing, rambling. As the lecturer wandered from topic to topic, we wondered what if any point there was to his discursive remarks. Disdain. View with scorn or contempt. In the film Funny Face, the bookish heroine disdained fashion models for their lack of intellectual interests. Disembark. Go ashore, unload cargo from a ship. Before the passengers could disembark, they had to pick up their passports from the ship's purser. Disenfranchise. Deprive of a civil right. The imposition of the poll tax effectively disenfranchised poor Southern blacks, who lost their right to vote. Disengage. Uncouple, separate, disconnect. A standard movie routine involves the hero's desperate attempt to disengage a railroad car from a moving train. Disfigure. Mar in beauty, spoil. An ugly frown disfigured his normally pleasant face. Disgorge. Surrender something, eject, vomit. Unwilling to disgorge the cash he had stolen from the pension fund, the embezzler tried to run away. Disgruntle. Make discontented. The passengers were disgruntled by the numerous delays,